Hi, beloved ones. This is Tamala Malay, your clarity catalyst and empowerment mystic. And today I'm doing a webinar for you in reference to how to change your life. So you get to ask your questions, and I'm looking forward to hearing them. You can join us on the webinar, and I will put the webinar link in the comments so that you can find us. So if you have any questions on how to change your life, this is your opportunity to ask them. So I'm doing this because there are so many people out there that have aspects of their experience that they don't like, that they don't prefer, that are either a little bit out of whack or a whole lot out of whack. And what I want to do, what my gift is to help people learn how to really change their life on purpose and to know how they change their life, right? It's not like, oh, we change our lives. Oh, this is different. Wow, this is awesome. How did I do this, right? I want to do this again. I don't know how to do that. That's not really useful, right? So what I do is I help people clear blocks and restrictions that are keeping them from creating the life they desire, and then also help them learn how they change their life. And the words that I use for that, the word is manifesting. Now, a lot of people use the word manifesting and they think, oh, well, that's only if I want to, manifest $1 million or something like that. And that's not necessarily true, though you could use it to manifest $1 million. Anything that we do when we're changing our life, excuse me, ooh, spirit's coming in. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Spirit is here. So anything that we do when we change our life is we are manifesting a new experience. And so that's why it's so important for us to understand our manifesting process. And so what I'd like to invite you to do is join this webinar and to ask your questions. And I'm going to look back over because my computer is right over here. So I'm going to keep looking over here and see if we have new people who have joined us. And when they do join us, I want to be able to acknowledge them and bring them on to ask their questions. Because this one, I didn't advertise this, so I'm not sure if anybody actually is going to ask any questions, but if you do, it's going to be wonderful and welcoming. But what I want to do is talk about first, while we're waiting, is to see the number one thing that people generally, like the first thing that comes up for most people, more than 50% of people, is they want to change their finances, right? Something about their income. And so we're going to start with questions about that. So if your question is, I want to increase my income, okay, whatever that is. If you want to go from making $2,000 a month to $3,000, or from $2,000 to $4,000, or if you want to go from $10,000 to $15,000 a month, or if you want to go from $100,000 to $200,000 a month, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's the exact same process. Whether you're creating a penny or you're creating $1 million, it is the exact same. Okay, the universe doesn't pay attention. The old adage, the universe or God is not a respecter of persons, right? That means that no person is better than another. It's the same with energy. There's no energy that is, quote, better than another when you're trying to manifest. It's the energy that's most supportive for you that is what is most important for you, right? So it really doesn't matter whether you're trying to manifest a penny or trying to manifest $1 million to the universe. It's what feels right and feels resonant for you. Now, I just finished a class, a free class that you can take, and it is on what is manifesting, right? What it is, what it isn't, how to do manifesting and what doesn't work. And it's an absolutely free class. And I actually am going to put that link into the comments as well so that you can take that. It's on my teaching platform. It's absolutely free. You just click the link and it will take you there. Excuse me. And you'll be able to watch it. It is a class. So it's designed for you to, you know, pay attention and take notes. There's lots of value there. There's lots of information there. There's lots of ahas there. It walks you through what manifesting is, what the manifesting process entails, right? And I want to be really clear. When we're trying to change our lives, when we're trying to manifest something, we have to do something different, okay? And we're going to have to change aspects of our experience, which means we're going to have to change aspects about ourselves. Because everything in our experience is completely resonant with who we are. Okay, Spirit wants to come in and wants to talk through me for a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm going to let them start talking. Okay. So when you are attempting to change aspects of your experience, you are forging new territories for yourself. And when you begin forging new territories, what you're doing is you're creating brand new pathways. And in these pathways, there's experiences that you've not had before. There's places that you've not been before. There's vibrations that you've not felt before. And when you're in that experience, it can be very scary. It can be terrifying. It can cause you to stop and go back to the beginning. And so that's why there's so much support that Spirit has put into the programs that I do around the Saboteur. The process that we do when we're changing our lives and we're changing who we are is all about 100% about changing our vibration. And when we change our vibration, then we attract the thing that is resonant with our new vibration, right? That's how law of attraction works. But we don't change the thing that we want, right? We have to change us. And so as we're changing us, it becomes uncomfortable. There's dissonance. There's things that we don't understand. There's new territories. There's new pathways. And in these experiences, what happens is they become uncomfortable. They become different. And the things that are no longer aligned for you will fall away, which means you're going to lose friends potentially. You may lose your job. You may lose your house. You may lose some kind of comfortable situation that you have, because that thing is not going to be resonant with where you're going. And I need to be really clear with people, because my work is not fluffy work, okay? It's not, oh, everything's wonderful, everything's happy, everything's joyful, everything is perfect. That's not my message, and that's not my mission here on earth. My mission is to be really clear and really plain, and to help you walk through the shadows of all the shit that comes up as you're trying to shift from one place to another. So I teach you how to shift from here to there. And I also teach you how to handle all the stuff in between, because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people who talk about manifesting or about abundance, they're talking about all the fluffy stuff, right? Oh, yes, you can do this. And there is the fluffy part about that. Yes, you can do all of the happy, fluffy things. Yes. But you're not going to get there unless you do the shadow stuff as well, unless you deal with your saboteur, unless you deal with the emotions that come up, unless you deal with the feelings that come up. You're never going to get there. You can't, because what's going to happen is you're going to get there and you're going to get afraid and you're not going to be equipped to do anything to keep yourself safe so that you can continue to move forward. So you're going to go back to where you were, or even fall back further than where you were, right? How many of you have had the experience of taking 2 steps forward and 14 steps back, right? That happens. It happens because we're not prepared, we're not equipped to handle the forward movement. And that's all about what I do with you. So let me check and see if anybody has joined us yet. I don't see anyone. So the next thing I want to talk about is, okay, let's go back to what we were talking about the finances. So you pick a number that you want to create for yourself, right? And as you are being in that resonance, right? You pick your number, you set your intention, which I help you do in the classes, and you bring that intention really close, right? Bring it all the way up to you and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Because what you're doing is you're changing your body to resonate with that intention. That's why you want to bring it close. Because as you bring it close, what's going to happen is it's going to show you where you're out of alignment. And what that means is when you are out of alignment, you're going to feel aspects come up for you that are incongruent. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to have thoughts that immediately come to mind that say, oh, you're full of shit. You can't create that. What are you thinking? Right? You're going to have emotions that come in that feel scary or frightened or resolute. Like, you can't do that. And so that's why it's so important. The first thing that you do when you set your intention is that you bring it close to your body and pay attention to what happens. You may actually even feel, people who are real sensitive in their body can feel pains in certain areas of their body or blockages in certain areas of their body because they have emotions and patterns that are stuck in our physicality, which are part of blocks and restrictions. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask, hi, Shannon, I see that you are there. If you'd like to join on the link, I'm happy to invite you to the Zoom call so that you can join and ask questions and we can actually have a conversation with one another if you would like to. So you can join either you can call in or you can click the link, either one, and we can chat. So when you have these experiences, right, you pulled it close, you find out where it is in your body, you find out the thoughts and the emotions that pop up because of it, right? You've got to know how to deal with those. And it doesn't mean ignoring them. It doesn't mean pushing them away. It doesn't mean being all fluffy with them, right? Spirit is really here. It means digging into those aspects, acknowledging them and releasing them. And there are processes for that. And that's part of what I help you do in the 6-month manifesting training. It's an important part because there's no way that you're going to get from where you are to where you want to be without all of that stuff in the middle, without those thoughts and those emotions and those things that come up that scare you, that sabotage you, that keep you distracted or off track. Okay. That's what happens, and it happens for everybody. And sometimes it's going to be things that feel uncomfortable. They're going to feel scary. Sometimes it's going to be distractions, right? It'll be, oh, instead of doing your work, you're going to be on Facebook all day. Or instead of doing your work, you will find yourself feeling sick, right? One of my sabotages that used to show up for me because it was a pattern in my DNA from my family, from my mother. Her saboteur showed up as making her sick and keeping her sick, and she was sick all her life, and she never actually accomplished much. And so my saboteur started showing up for me when I would take new action and start doing new things as making me sick. And so when I got sick, I would go to bed. That means I wasn't doing my work. I wasn't taking new action. I wasn't doing these things. And so instead, what would happen would be I would be completely out of alignment with this thing I want to create because I'm not doing it, right? Instead, I'm laying in bed taking care of myself. And sometimes we do have to do that, right? But when it's a sabotage that comes up, you can acknowledge it or notice it because it's happening right before this thing that you're trying to do, right? It's happening in conjunction with some kind of event or situation or experience. It's happening in a way that's going to make you not be able to do the thing that you want to do. Okay, when that happens, that is a sabotage. And what I had to learn is I had to learn how to do it anyway. I did, because that sabotaging kept showing up and kept showing up and kept showing up. So I never got to do my thing. And so once I started doing my thing anyway, doing it sick, it changed everything about my experience, because I would get laryngitis right before I was fixing to have to stand up on stage and talk. And what I would do is I would go up there and say, hey, I have laryngitis, but I'm going to do this anyway. And about 3 sentences in, it would clear up because it was a sabotage. It wasn't real. And once I continued to push through it, it went away. I've had classes scheduled before and I'd get sick. I'd get a tummy ache. I'd get to feeling bad. And I wouldn't have a fever. I wouldn't have anything contagious, right? It would be me, right? And it would just be, I feel bad. And so once I started doing it anyway, going to the thing anyway, it would clear up. 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 5 minutes into the thing, I was perfectly fine. And it wouldn't come back because it didn't work. Now, here's the thing you need to understand. If you pay attention to what is your saboteur right now, it's wonderful for you to know that and know how to move through that. But you've got to know that your saboteur is not always going to stay the same. And that's part of what I help you do in the 6-month manifesting training, is because we're taking you from where you want to go to where you want to be in this 6-month period. So you're not overstretching yourself. You're not overdoing it, right? And we're learning how you're doing it all along the way so that you can do it forever and apply it to everything in your experience. But we're also handling every time the saboteur comes up and teaching you how to overcome the saboteur, right? You're never going to not have a saboteur. And this is something else that people are not teaching. They're making, there's advertisements and there's teachings and things out there that make it seem like you can do something once and you've got it forever. And that's true if you really got it, if you really understood it, if you really know how you did it. But your saboteur is going to show up for you in a plethora of different ways, and it's going to be with you forever. It's your survival instincts, okay? And as long as we're in a human body, until our human bodies change, we're going to continue to have our survival instinct, that fight or flight. And your saboteur will show up either as having you fight and combat what it is, or the other people that are showing up to help you, or they're going to have you flee and run away or be distracted and not do it, right? And separate, right? But there's a million different ways that can have you do those two things. And if you don't have someone watching your back and somebody helping you acknowledge, because remember, most of the time this is going to be subconscious. You aren't going to be aware that this is happening. You're just going to know, oh, there's all these dog videos on Facebook. Oh my God, look at this. Or, oh, I'm on YouTube and I'm in the YouTube tunnel for, 6 hours. Holy smoke, how did that happen? Right? And, oh, I didn't do my thing I wanted to do today. So I want to continue this conversation every day this week, and I'm going to have new things to talk about. But for today, I want you to post in the comments what you would like to create before the end of the year, or, beginning the first of the year, because it's already the middle of October, right? So what is it that you want to create? And then post in the comments how your saboteur shows up for you, and do hashtag saboteur so that you can, so that we can search it. And you can even put hashtag intention so that we can come back and find that later as well. And I'm going to be back tomorrow and we're going to talk some more. But before I go, I want to do a couple of things. One is I want to talk to you or give you the information about the free course that I posted in the comments. It is absolutely free. It's on the training platform. And it talks about what manifesting is, what it's not, what works and what doesn't work. So it's going to be hugely helpful for you. So if you don't do anything else, do that. Okay. They're videos. You can watch them. You can listen to them, whatever's most supportive for you. And you have access to it 24/7. But don't wait. Go ahead and do those now. Don't let your saboteur stop you from watching those videos where you can really learn a lot. Now, after you watch those videos, because they are a prerequisite for the manifesting training, and I will add them to you if you join us in the 6-month manifesting training. I'll add it to your account so you'll have it available to watch. And the 6-month manifesting training comes out in 2 ways. It comes in a group platform where I have 12 seats available right now. And I'm going to look at my calendar because I don't want to tell you the wrong date. Right now, it is open for early bird registration, which means that you're going to save $300. Okay, that's a lot of money. You're going to save that if you register between now and Wednesday, October 17th. So that's this Wednesday, midnight Pacific time. And then after that, it'll go to regular price. And so you'll see that on the website. I want you to go over to yourownsoul.com, and I'm going to put that in the link too so that you can click it. yourownsoul.com/MB for Manifesting Blueprint. And what you'll do is you can check out the information on the 6-month training. There are sample videos so that you can see, one of the little training modules that's in there. There's a link to take you to the training platform so that you can see everything that's included. And it is a 6-month program, so it won't overwhelm you. And there's also the testimonials. The biggest things, they're actually, and instead of just doing testimonials, what I did is I interviewed 3 of the students in Class A, and we are registering right now for Class D. And this is the last one for 2018. So you can actually listen to the interviews with 3 different people who took the class, who graduated the 6 months, and who will tell you how the process was, what were the favorite things about it, what they created, and it's miraculous. There are people who have taken the course and within the first 2 months have manifested their 6-month intention, and we had to set new intentions. There's one person who set 10 intentions, and she's already accomplished 9 of them. And they were holy smoke intentions. They weren't like little intentions, okay? They were holy smoke intentions, and she's already got 9 of them. And she's just working on her 10th one, which is amazing. There are people that have created new programs. There are people who have created new businesses. There are people that have created income changes or shifts or bumps up leveling, I would call it, to new levels of income consistently. There are people who have some health intentions in there as well. So you can have any intention that you want and know that you're going to be supported. So all the information is going to be there on the yourownsoul.com/MB. And if you're a public figure, if you're someone who is a very private person and you want to have a one-on-one manifesting training, that is available. And there's a little section that you can click right under the title at the top of the page that says, if you want private, click here. And it will talk about the private one-on-one, because there are some folks that maybe are C-level in their business. They are public figures, and they really don't feel comfortable doing and being as vulnerable as we get in this process in the group, and they need it to be private. So that is available for you. Now, registration again for both of those is open right now. Early bird pricing ends on midnight Pacific time, Wednesday, October 17th. So go ahead and get your early bird discount. I'm looking at my list to make sure that I've put everything on there. First class is going to be Saturday, November 3rd. And what we're going to do is we will, once people register, we're going to find out where everybody is, because like in the class C, we have someone in Belgium, you know, we have people in different time zones. So we want to make sure that we can set up a time that's going to work for everyone. And if we have people who want to do, who are able to do all day classes, we'll have that, or we'll have night class, or we'll have all weekend class, depending on what works best for everyone. There are only 12 seats in the class, okay? There's only 12 because it needs to be intimate, it needs to be close, it needs to be a lot of contact, and it is an intensive. And you're going to get the support that you need to change your life, I promise. So I think that's all that I have on my list right now. Join me tomorrow. Post your questions in the chat. Oh, somebody is here. Oh, hi, Shannon. Hold on, I'm going to promote you. Hold on, it'll take me just a minute to figure out how to do that. I'm still learning this process. All right, Shannon, I have promoted you to a panelist. You can turn on your video if you want and unmute yourself, and we can have a chat. Hi. All right, I can't hear you. I'm going to unmute you. Oh.
Okay.
There you go.
My camera is always fun in the morning.
That's all right. Good morning.
Good morning.
What questions did you have? What thoughts did you have? What do you want to share?
Your topic of discussion was about manifesting, correct?
Yes.
Excuse me, I'm just having my coffee and everything, catching up on what was going on. Sorry, this morning. Yeah, I like the information you were sharing about the saboteur because that's something that is not brought up in most of the teachings. And we are our own obstacles in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
We can have things from contracts that also give a nice, fun twist in things. That
Yeah.
was something we had
Mm-hmm.
in my household. Um, my husband and I had been, and I know this will sound weird, excuse me, we had actually been cursed 4 lifetimes ago
Mm-hmm.
by someone very, very powerful in dark art energy manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something I didn't uncover until just probably about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since we've cleared that, it was something we worked on for a few lifetimes separate.
Mm-hmm.
And then this lifetime, once we came together, that obstacle was always there. And we've kept trying to figure out why is it every time we start to plateau
Mm-hmm.
and things start to coast, and then the rug would get pulled up,
Yeah.
you know? And we kept working on it in all different ways of manipulating energy and clearing energy and all of this, but it finally came to the surface for us to acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, it was one of those things that, yeah, I went, oh, you know, okay. But then I dug into through my Akash and found the link.
Mm-hmm.
And I had another friend that I had contacted that was able to give me a couple of details that validated what I had gotten in the Akash.
Mm-hmm.
And once we cleared that, most people would think that, oh, well, then everything goes perfect. No,
No.
no. And it's so funny because I was told about 2 years ago, you realize you're now in the vacation part of your life plan. And I thought, now when we all think about it, we all go, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a vacation life. I'm gonna be wealthy. I'm gonna have all these things. Life is gonna go so smooth. And that's not what I did. I planned a life that was cram packed in the first 45 years. I'm
Mm-hmm.
now 51.
Yeah.
Cram packed with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Very intense, heavy um, areas that was also part of the community I agreed to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we finally did all the work to get through clearing the curse, clearing some of the karmic threads that in our relationship from previous lifetimes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then we're supposedly in the vacation part of our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most people would interpret that as, oh, things are always going smoothly. But it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big misconception is that uh, when you get into a phase of life like this, that everything's just always going to be perfect, but it's not because you have co-participants. You
Right.
have other people you're interacting with. And even if it's like for me, myself, I still have a partner.
Right. Right.
And they can bring in aspects so that when you're manifesting, you have to look at who you're connecting with about your manifesting. Who are you working with? Because I even had to tell my husband one time he was going to do something, and I was like, "Now, we've been doing all this work on manifesting. Why are you going to do that? You're going to throw a wrench in everything we've been working on."
Well, and it's really important too to understand, and I love that you brought up the Akashic stuff because one of the first things that I do with my clients is I'm an Akashic record reader and clearer. And I do a soul profile reading and clearing where we go through and find out, all of the energetic entanglements, the curses, the contracts, the cords, the hooks, the unconscious patterns, right? I mean, there's hundreds of things that we check for in that. And for people who are not ready to manifest, I encourage you to do that because it will change everything about your experience, because if you have these energetic entanglements, you can't get to some things. You just can't, because of these blocks or restrictions. That's why they're called blocks and restrictions, right?
Exactly.
And so when we remove those, it gives you the opportunity to really more fully step into your own process. Now, what you'll learn if you check out my manifesting blueprint training is that it's, you know, you have to understand the way you're designed to manifest, and your partner may be designed differently. Like my beloved and I am one of the aspects that we're different about is he's a consistent and I'm a variable. And so what that means is when he's trying to manifest something in his experience, he has to do the same thing in reference to that one thing he's trying to create over and 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 over, right? For him to get his thing. For me, I can't do that. And if I'm trying to create something, I have to take actions that are resonant with the thing that I want in various areas of my experience. So I have to do it in relation to food, health, my career, my finances, my playtime, right? Because it all has to shift for me. For him, it's just the one thing. And we've got to know how to do that together. And that's part of what we do in the 6-month training. If you're both in there, is because it's not going to do him any good to do it your way, and it's not going to do you any good to do it his way, right? We each have to do it our own way, how we're designed. And to do it in cooperation with one another can amplify your manifesting ability if you're both doing it your own ways. But like you said, most people don't talk about that part either, and about keeping both parties in line with how they're supposed to do it while still working together. Because we create things way differently, but we create together, you know?
Yeah.
And it's easy now. The thing is, when we're creating together, we're creating things for our relationship, right? We're not creating, like he doesn't create for me and I don't create for him. We create for our relationship, right? Which is a separate entity. And that's something else people need to understand is we don't create for other people. I'm responsible for what I create and he's responsible for what he creates. And I can't do his work for him and he can't do my work for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it becomes really important for us to understand. And that's why I say I'm not the fluffy person, right? I'm not gonna bullshit you with all these, oh, it's gonna be, all happy and fluffy, because it's just not. You need to know that there are going to be times when the two of you are going to be incongruent with one another, and how to get back into cooperation and congruency with what you're doing, what you're creating, how you're creating it, and what you want, and how to tweak it, and how to deal with the saboteur, because his saboteur will show up and your saboteur will show up and they'll have a saboteur party together.
Yeah, really.
And they'll keep both of you completely off track. And neither one of you may even know it. You may not even notice it.
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of people don't, they end up wanting everything. We should be, how do I want to put it? We should work with it identical in order to be creating something together. And that's not what we've been able to do at all. And once we both kind of stepped back and went, you work with it this way and I work with it this way. So when we work together, we both bring our talents and work as individuals to what we're bringing together as a couple. Yep. And that shifted a lot of things. It allowed us to be able to access more energy and more creation
Mm-hmm.
when we both came at it from where our talents are
Yeah, exactly.
and bringing it in together.
Exactly.
But I've seen other couples and I've read other teachings that they're like, well, you need to be in exactly the same vibration and you need to be doing all this. And I find that that really limited the energy that we were trying to work with. It was
Yep.
limiting each of us
Yep.
the more that I would look at it. And it just didn't make sense to me when we have areas that work really strongly together and we have
Yep.
areas that are almost combative to one another.
Yep.
But when we both use our talents from our space, we magnify each other
Yep.
and magnify it into whatever we're bringing into fruition.
Exactly. Yeah, and what's important, and I think the way that I share that or verbalize that is I get to be my own divine being, and you get to be your own divine being, and as long as we're each aligned, we are awesome.
Yeah.
And when we're bringing in our own awesomeness, we have all of this extra awesome that we can put into our relationship to make it awesome, right?
Yeah.
And if we can't do that for ourselves, we don't have any extra to give to the relationship.
Right.
Right? We don't have anything to give to this thing that we're trying to create together. And I always say take care of you first, because you give out of your overflow, right? Your cup runneth over. The cup is for you. The runneth over part is for everybody else. Right?
Right.
And so that's the part that a lot of people miss too, is they're, give first and take care of yourself last. Well, that's bull, right? That's old stuff we're not doing anymore.
Right.
The cup is for us. And if we want to give to somebody else, we need to get into alignment with who we are and what we want and be abundant and joyful and full and juicy. And our cup runs over, and then all the run over stuff is what we give to other people. And it's true in the relationships too.
Mm-hmm.
You got a cup running over and he's got a cup running over, and that running over is just fueling everything about your joy together, about your life together, about the choices that you make together. And you can do with it what you want, but nobody's taking from each other, right? You're not taking from each other's cups.
Right.
You're enjoying the overflow. And that's the big difference, because up until now, everybody's been taking from each other's cups, right? Not doing that anymore.
Very true.
Yeah.
I did that for many, many years but it was a big part of what I came in to work with, so I could work towards the other aspect of the goal. But and I think part of it too, when you're a mom and things like that, you start putting yourself last.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is being taken care of. And I did that for many, many years.
Me too.
And I had a physical injury as well at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
That even that, I didn't let it stop me. I was running at 200 miles an hour all the time. Everybody was being tended to. And even my career at the time took priority over me.
You. Yep.
Everything else was a priority over me. And, I got the knock in the head from spirit of, okay, it's time to change your life. It's time to wake up, girlfriend. And so it was divorce, and it was, I did night school and working in the daytime and, balancing the kids and all of this stuff. And it was like, oh, and your life partner's coming in. Okay, great. Which I was at first going, oh God, I don't need another thing on my plate. You're kidding, But when you get information like that, I see it happen for people. They're like, oh, this is going to make everything perfect. And it's not.
No, it's
There's
not. It's another process.
It's another process. Things you have to work out, things you have to get in the groove of. You're going to have, and this time my life partner is my primary soulmate. And I've had people go, oh, you're so lucky. No, we're not lucky.
Your teachers.
We are each other's triggers. We
Yep.
are each
Yep.
other's best friends, but it comes as a big bundle,
Yep.
and you have to really work with one another and be able to get through it. And here we had, blending family together and having to make that all work. And at the same time, Spirit's over here going, hey, so we got a few other things we're adding into this pile.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but instead it ended up changing what we were both creating for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were getting pushed and challenged by each other so that we could move towards that.
Well, and they're choice points, right? You get the opportunity to decide if you want to make a different choice. We have these patterns that show up for us. And, these patterns of people who show up for us. We get the same kind of boss or the same kind of boyfriend or the same kind of husband or wife or, right? We have all these. And the reason these are coming back to us is because they're waiting for us to make a different choice, right? Do it differently.
Right.
And when we do it differently, we can release the old patterns and move forward in our new way. And our beloveds, our soulmates, twin flames, like people have different names for them. They are I call them our teachers, right? They're opportunities for us to decide if we want to make different choices. And sometimes they're going to be choices to leave a situation. And sometimes they're going to be choices to stay in a situation. And sometimes they're going to be choices for us to learn how to compromise or to learn how to not compromise our own parameters, how to set good boundaries, how to speak up for ourselves, right? There's a plethora of lessons that come with these relationships, but they're all designed to help us decide what choices we want to make.
Right.
And I got, when you were speaking, I got the hit that Spirit wanted to offer a card for you. Would you be interested in a card?
Oh, of course. I love it.
All right. So they picked the Power of Surrender cards for you. And so just think for a moment and you can ask your question. All right. Okay. Ooh, this was wonderful. We talked about the saboteur.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, and my thought was also, show her the one that will be most supportive for her in the next month, the coming 30 days. And so this is the one that you got. And I'm going to read what it says. It is the surrender your need to always be right. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. Now, the additional information that's coming with this is, of course, you never tell somebody they're right when they're not, right? You don't blow smoke at people. But it's also, this is not so much about compromise as it is acknowledgement. You're not compromising yourself. You're not compromising your beliefs. You're acknowledging that truth is subjective, because we all have different truths, right? What's true for me is different than what's true for you. And that is the same with, in our beloved relationships too, and with our children and with our bosses and with our clients, right? And so if we get in those situations where our truths are different, and they're saying you're going to have this opportunity to offer someone else the acknowledgement that even though their truth is different than yours, it's can still be true for them, and that's okay. Because it's going to offer you the opportunity to expand your access to your own truth as well. Because the closer that we get to acknowledging that truth is subjective for everybody, we can relax and not be so triggered by other people's truths. Especially, you know, politics is a big thing right now that triggers everybody. And there's a difference between truth and facts, right? Facts are facts, but truth is subjective. And we've seen that, right? And that's just kind of an example of what's coming up for everybody right now. Is because we're all trying to really kind of shift through and see, okay, what's true for me? What do I want to be true for me? Because truth is also a choice.
Right.
And what do I not want to be true for me anymore? Right. One example would be, I don't want to be poor, right? I don't want that to be a truth for me. I do want to have a truth of being abundant, right? So that could be a way that you shift a truth. Excuse me. They come in, and all of these truths that are coming at us, all of these subjective things that come all these different ways, give us opportunity for choice. And so that's what this card is saying for you, even though it's phrased a little differently. It really is giving you the opportunity for more choice in what you're going to choose to be right for you and what you allow to be right for other people. Because even our children have the right to their own truths. And allowing them, loving them enough to learn their own lessons and let them make their own mistakes. As a parent, I know from my own experience was terrible. Was agonizing. But that's the only way they learn how to use their own power, is by making their own mistakes. And so I hope that blesses you. What are your thoughts on that?
That was actually really good. I really liked it. And I'm giggling because just, gosh, you got to think of the date. October 3rd. On my public page, I did a segment all about truth, speaking your truth, and the difference of how truth shows up, because everyone is using their own kaleidoscope for their truth. It's based on what they have learned, their experiences, what they were taught, how they were raised. All these different impacts influence the kaleidoscope in how they see truth. In facts stand off on their own. They're the black and white neutral that has no positive or negative to them. They just stand there.
They just are.
Everyone else's kaleidoscope is looking at it. You know, you have 50 people watch a movie. All 50 people are going to have a different perception of the truth of what was shown.
Right. And the things that jumped out for them.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And we're dealing with a situation right now for my husband that has been exposing more and more layers. He was injured at work. And it's been showing more and more layers that have been going on behind the scenes that the dirty laundry nobody wanted to look at.
Right.
And I've been doing all the legal research. These are the facts. This is how it's done. And it used to be in my prior career, so I'm very familiar with it. You know, you would think once you become, you know, working with spirit all the time, and you go, oh, I left all those other careers long behind. Now, honey, they're all there in your toolbox, and they come up as soon as you need them, you know. And so here it is. There I am having to go and do the black and white facts,
right,
and handing it off.
Right.
So I keep I'm dealing with it for us as the couple and being the support role, but having to also lay down, okay, these are black and white truths
Right.
that are facts,
Right.
and in having to hand it back off to him for him to deal with and decide how he's going to work with it or how he's going to present it, what he's going to provide in that aspect. So it was perfect card for right now.
Of course it was.
Of course, you know? And I don't get those often because, you know, once you start doing it for a living, it's everybody asks me, they're like, well, who does the medium go to?
We have to have somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, because there again, you know, I don't read for family.
Right.
And that was something my mentor taught me, was that, you know, don't read for yourself, don't read for your family.
Well, you've got to be able to be neutral.
Right.
The moment you have an emotional response, you've contaminated the whole thing.
Exactly.
Yep.
You're a co-participant.
Yep.
You're like one of the root people. So, and even looking for myself, I get, you know, where I can get this much for somebody as a client, it's this much. It's like a drip feed.
Yeah.
Unless it's really important, and then they're like, okay, you've done all the work to get to this point. All right, now we can expose this is what was happening. And now you can see it because you already dealt with the choices to get to this point.
Right. Right.
And now exposing it is not going to influence how you move in with it forward. Right. And I know that's also something I've run into in the spiritual communities, and even had, you know, clients inquire about it, and people that were learning to use their abilities, you know, and they're like, well, how come I can't get anything about this area or that area for myself? And it's like, because it's going to impact.
Right. You're too close to it.
Right.
Yep. You're too close to it.
Influence what you choose. And that's a big deal. They don't want to influence what you choose because that choice in itself has such a great value.
Well, that free will, that's what it's all about.
Right. And it is our power to work with it so that we have the ability to create that which we desire. And that's what we're also suited with.
Yep.
And if it's not happening, you need to step back and go, okay, maybe I need to change how I'm looking at that goal, looking at that manifestation.
Right. Or what I'm doing, or what I'm thinking, or am I congruent, or am I doing it the way I'm designed to do it?
Right.
You know,
because there might be something else that you need a person you need to meet, a situation you need to be involved in, or one of those just aha moments that come that completely goes, oh, I was looking at this goal like this, and now that moment happened, and you're like, duh, I need to be looking at it like that. All right, and then you shift gears, and then it starts popping. Yeah. And I think a lot of people get frustrated when you're reaching blockages or just little stones in the way.
Yeah.
That they think that everything's wrong and, oh my gosh, you know, or they're pushing so hard for it that they don't stop and take inventory that maybe I need to step back and look at this from another point of view.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting is part of the Manifesting Blueprint is we have a private Facebook group. And in that private group, we'll jump on and do Facebook Lives and walk them through those things and get those ahas. And then everybody in the group can watch the replay and go, oh my God. And it's huge. And it's funny because I take the class with everybody else, and I keep everything really transparent, right? because we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always expanding, right? We're always manifesting.
Yes.
And it can always be better. And there are times when I'm teaching and it's like, and spirit is talking to me at the same time. And I'll have to say, okay, this is what they're telling me, right? This is what they're saying to me right now. They're talking to me about this. Because it doesn't end, right? We're always going to have to address our saboteur until our human existence changes. We're always going to have to pay attention to our manifesting process if we want to be in control of what's happening in our life, right? If we want to have the things that we want, and control is not really the word, but if we want to have the experience we want to have, right? We've got to do it on purpose instead of life happening to us, right? We get to happen to life. And that's really what we want.
Right.
And I'm going to be on tomorrow too. Let me see. I'm going to need to check the time. 10:30 tomorrow, same place. And we're going to talk some more. Do you have any questions you would like for me to address tomorrow? Or topic?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
That I can think of.
If you think of them, post them in the comments, and I'll make sure and cover them tomorrow. I've enjoyed this.
Me too.
And if you want to, you're welcome to take the free class. I'd like for you to do that, and then also to check out the 6-month training. See if it might appeal to you and your husband. If you do want to join as a couple, let me know, and we can work out a discount for the two of you together. That I think would be really supportive, to offer that discount. So for both of you to work together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
All
good.
right. I appreciate it, Shannon. Thank you. It was wonderful spending time with you.
Yeah, you as well.
And hopefully.
Good thing I went and did my hair. I was in my bathrobe at first. I was like, uh-oh. I gotta go do something with this.
But it's awesome.
I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the discussion back and forth. I think it will help other people as well to understand that we are always a work in progress. You know, it's kind of like that Da Vinci painting that is always being added to. Little parts come off, little pieces get added on.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can see yourself in your life as a beautiful painting that you are the artist of. Yeah. Little by little, and it doesn't matter what the mistakes are. Nope. Mistakes add to every work of art. Character. It makes it unique, and that's where, that's the fun part of being here. Exactly. Part of being here. Exactly. And then we get to go, oh, I don't want to do that again. Right? Right. Yep. And then we don't have to keep doing it again. That's the awesome part. Well, I hope to see you tomorrow. Okay. Take care. Be blessed. Everybody, don't forget, put your intentions in the comments. Share this out with anybody who could benefit. And put your, there was something else you were supposed to put in the comments. I forgot what it was now because I think I was channeling then. I don't remember what I channeled. So, and check out the class and then check out the Manifesting Blueprint. We'll see you tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Take care. Be blessed. Know that you are a valuable divine being. I'm grateful you're here. I'm grateful you have chosen to incarnate at this time to do your work so we all can change the world together. Bye-bye.